Today, I take my family on spring break to Ohio to find out if Cincinnati has the best opening day in the major leagues, and we see if my 11-year-old son can play outfield for a high school baseball team. All right. Whoa, gotta sit on my stool here. Okay, so here's the premise of this video. One of my best friends, Shane, was getting married in Cincinnati, of all places, my hometown, the exact same week of my kid's spring break and the exact same week of Cincinnati Reds Opening Day. And I'm not sure what you've heard about Cincinnati Reds Opening Day, but it is the biggest opening day in all of Major League Baseball. The most expensive ticket, the biggest party, the biggest celebration. It's like a national holiday in Cincinnati. There's a ginormous parade in downtown, and then there's an even bigger party outside the ballpark before the game starts. It's just a wonderful celebration of baseball and an overall fantastic American weekend. On top of that, Molly's best friend lives in Canton, Ohio, which is on the other side of the state, but still a reasonable drive. So our challenge was, can we fit all of this opening day, the wedding, seeing family, going to Canton in 1 week of spring break without wanting to kill each other? We'll see. Our journey began 3 a.m. the day before opening day in San Francisco. We had to catch our super early flight and fly to Detroit and then to Cincinnati. True story. There's no Detroit-style pizza at the Detroit airport. So we finally made it to Cincinnati. My mom came to pick us up at the airport. There's no better feeling than driving from northern Kentucky, where the airport is, into Cincinnati, down the hill, and suddenly the city appears before your eyes. You get to see downtown. It always feels good to be home, to drive through the city, see all the old familiar sights, and then finally arrive at my true home, my childhood home. Now that I'm here, it's time to switch allegiances. Much better.
Hey guys, for my dad's channel.
Oh, hey cousins. How's it going? Oh, we did. How's your birdies? Was it worth 30 minutes of your life? What up, YouTube? Big Jim here, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, actually in my hometown, Norwood. So we're going to go downtown to the Reds Opening Day Parade, probably see that from Over-the-Rhine, and then eventually migrate our way over to the ballpark. The Reds happen to be playing the San Francisco Giants today, my other favorite team. So I'm normally a Giants fan, unless they are playing the Reds. So today I got my Reds gear on, got my Pete Rose rookie card shirt. Yeah, I'm all ready to go. So hopefully the Reds beat the Giants, and that's the only time I'm hoping for the Giants to lose. So we posted up to watch the parade on Race Street in front of Washington Park, which is in Over-the-Rhine. Over-the-Rhine is Cincinnati's historic district, I would say. It's an old German neighborhood, and nearly all the buildings date back to the 1800s. It's just a beautiful place. There were thousands of people filling the streets. Every inch of the sidewalk for miles down Race Street were just covered with people, all wearing Reds gear. The parade was fantastic. Lots of beautiful floats. Got to see all kinds of old Cincinnati characters. Jim Tarbell, Marty Brenneman, Chris Sabo was the Grand Marshal. Just a great feeling all around from everyone, just celebrating opening day and enthusiastic about the Reds. There were a lot of touching tributes to my favorite childhood player, Pete Rose, greatest of all time. Pete Rose, since he died last year, was definitely kind of looming over the whole event. After about 2 hours of watching the parade, there was surprisingly no end in sight. It just kept going. But we had reservations a few blocks away at this place called Mellotone Beer Project. Mellotone is inside this beautiful 1850s German historic church that was restored and turned into a restaurant and brewery. Awesome vibe inside, big open space. There's a balcony around the entire top of it. The beer is wonderful. Food was actually fantastic. I was really surprised at how good the food was. And the kids even had a good time playing pool, hanging out. It was really a great spot to have lunch down there. After the parade finally ended and we finished eating and having a few beers at Mellotone, we headed out on foot to go down to the riverfront to the stadium. And there were thousands of other people walking with us heading down to the ballpark.
I hope there's somebody like me standing in front of me catching the ball, because we're on the third base line.
No. I'll give it to you.
Just use your hat.
What?
Use your hat. Flip that forward.
Nice thought.
Most probably weren't even going to the game because there is a huge party outside the ballpark. It's this area called the Banks, which is like bars and restaurants and just like an entertainment district. And it was a ginormous party. I heard there were 100,000 people there. That sounded about right. It took us forever to wade through the crowd, and with the thousands of other people went into the ballpark. And I would definitely say there were more people outside the ballpark than even in the ballpark, and the ballpark was sold out. Yeah, it's a big bummer. The Reds had a nice lead going into, I think, the 8th inning, and the Giants ended up scoring a few late runs, coming back and winning. After the game, we headed over to Sam and Katie's house. Sam is my best friend from growing up. I think every single time we come into town, we get together with them. Their kids are the same age as our kids, and we always do some kind of like an overnighter at their house or go out and do a bunch of fun things with them.
Happy birthday, Sam Wills Lily.
Both their son and our son are huge into baseball cards, but Sam had been saving up a bunch of really cool packs and boxes and things and was very generous, gave the boys a ton of packs to open, and they were just having the time of their life. And of course, at the same time, the parents enjoyed themselves and had a few drinks, did a little dancing, and we stayed up late into the night, and we celebrated a fantastic opening day and getting to hang out with our old friends.
What'd you get, Wills? Chocolate croissant? Looks delicious. How is it? Do you smell it, croissant?
If you've ever visited Cincinnati, you've probably heard people talking about Goetta. Goetta is a local food that people in Cincinnati seem to go nuts for. It's like sausage mixed with oats. It's a German food historically, and I think it's really only popular in Cincinnati. It's definitely a source of pride for the Natty.
Show me your best cards.
This one? Yeah.
Bobby Jr. autograph.
So maybe this one, probably one of these.
After last night at the Seeger's house, Wilson's got the itch for the baseball cards, so he wants me to take him to a card shop. And we found one. It's on the west side though, so it's a little bit of a drive. So we're gonna go check it out. It's called Ideal Baseball Cards. Never been there.
Here we are, Ideal Baseball Cards Plus. All right, what did you get?
Jumbo Pack 2025, and then 2022 Topps Chrome box.
Cool. Good deal on those. Those guys were nice.
Yeah, really.
What did you think of this store?
It was really cool. They gave me a free pack.
Yeah, nice guys. Probably the best card shop that we've been to, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Good collection. Very, very deep.
One's for green.
Green. Starting pitcher yesterday at opening day.
Can't come to Cincinnati without a visit to White Castle. As I mentioned, the real reason that we were in town was that my friend Shane and his now wife Amanda were getting married. The first event of the wedding weekend was a welcome reception downtown with drinks at a Scottish pub. Molly and I took advantage of having grandparents to watch the kids in the same town and went out to dinner, just the two of us, before the welcome reception. We ate at a lovely little place called Davidson's, which is right across from Fountain Square. And Fountain Square, by coincidence, was the place about 20 years ago that I asked Molly to marry me. Fast forward to Saturday, which was the day of the wedding. Love weddings, love dressing up, looking nice. Molly looked beautiful. The ceremony was gorgeous. It was at St. Ursula and followed by a reception downtown at the hotel where we were staying, the Renaissance. And it was just a lovely evening. Shane is an old college friend, and that meant a lot of our old college friends were there in attendance, and it was great to see everyone, to party, to celebrate Shane and Amanda. We just had a lovely, lovely evening. Shane's an avid guitar player, and we recorded a lot of music together in our various music projects.
She's Bitcoin mining my heart.
I think he kind of surprised everyone. He had hired a 9-piece band to play at the wedding, and at one point we looked up and suddenly Shane was on stage playing guitar with them. He did a pretty good job too. The next day after the wedding definitely was hungover, but there is nothing better to treat a hangover than a little bit of Cincinnati's very own Skyline Chili. And if you don't know what Skyline is, it's the best thing ever. It's chili. They serve it over spaghetti with cheese on top, or you can get it on a hot dog, a coney. Gotta go to Cincinnati and try the Skyline. The saddest part of the whole trip was getting to see the burnt ruins of a previously gorgeous Victorian 1890s house in my parents' neighborhood that tragically burnt down a month or two before this trip. It was a house that I had grown up riding my bike past and seeing all the time. It was just a fixture of the neighborhood, had been there 130 years, and it recently had new owners who were renovating it, and apparently there was some kind of an electrical issue that caused it to tragically burn down. I've heard that they're going to try to rebuild it in some form that pays respect to the original building, but obviously it's impossible to replicate something as historic and beautiful as that. On the opposite end of the happiness spectrum, probably the happiest part of the week was that it was also my son's birthday. His actual birthday was the day after we left Cincinnati to head to Canton, but we celebrated it a day early with my family and the cousins and my parents and everyone, with cake and presents and all the good things that go with a birthday. Sadly, the next day, it was time to leave Cincinnati and head north to Canton. So we said goodbye to the grandparents, loaded up the rental car, and headed out on the 3-hour journey across Ohio to Northeast Ohio, to the Canton, Akron area. My wife is originally from a small town called Dover, and so we stopped there to meet up with Grandma Joe and have lunch at a place called Crocker's. One thing that Dover is famous for is the Larry Dinolfo salad. Larry Dinolfo owned a restaurant back in, I guess, the 80s and probably before that, where he made just pizza and spaghetti and salad, I think. And the salad is so good that the restaurant has long since closed, and there are now today several restaurants that serve this exact salad or their version of the salad. It became kind of like a local dish. And it's so wonderful that my wife has figured out how to recreate it and makes it at home probably at least once a week, if not more than that. And so, of course, we had to seek out one of the restaurants that serves this salad and experience it for ourselves in its natural environment of Dover, Ohio. But it is pretty delicious. Finally, we arrived in Canton, which is home to the Professional Football Hall of Fame and also our really good friends Tiff and Sam. We visit Canton at least once a year, and Tiff and Sam are always very generous to have us stay at their house. And they have 2 kids that are close to our kids' age, and their house is gigantic. Everybody runs around, just has a really good time. The adults have a good time too, so we always enjoy our visits to Tiff and Sam's house. The next morning was Wils's actual birthday, and Tiff did something really cool. She surprised him by ordering this sign. He had no idea it was out there, so we took him out in the morning. It was freezing, and showed him the sign, and he thought that was pretty cool. The boys spent the rest of the morning fishing, and Sam, Tiff's husband, also had a cool surprise for Wils on his birthday. He arranged for Wils and their son Jack to shag fly balls during batting practice at the Canton-McKinley High School baseball game. Canton-McKinley is like a huge school, and they play at a former minor league ballpark, which part of the experience for this was just being in this humongous, beautiful ballpark with beautiful turf field. Wils and Jack are both obsessed with baseball. They both play on multiple baseball teams and follow baseball really closely. And so this to them was a just ultimate experience to go out there with the big kids and try to catch some fly balls, which turned out to be not as easy as they thought it would be. Still, they did a great job. After this, they got to go into the facilities there at the stadium and have some batting practice. I threw them some pitches, and then they watched the Canton-McKinley Bulldogs win their baseball game. What'd you find, bro? Foul ball?
Yep.
Cool. But the surprises didn't end there. Tiff had one more big surprise up her sleeve. The next day, we all hopped in the car and drove 15 minutes away from their house to a baseball bat factory, a place called SabreCat Bats. And they make custom baseball bats for Major League Baseball players.
So yeah, it's how it all starts. Most of what we do is maple. These are all weights and ounces on them, so depending on what model you choose, what size.
The bats are beautiful, well made. You get to custom order them and choose your shape and size and color. They can do engraving, all kinds of cool things. The week that we did this was the week that the torpedo bats were all in the news because the Major League Baseball players suddenly started using them, and they even had some torpedo bats there.
The smaller the barrel, which is that model there, the less torpedo-y it looks, right? See it slope it down more.
This too was just an awesome present for Wils. Like, he is obsessed with baseball and being able to design, which, I mean, every kid loves to design things and like pick out the colors and stuff like that, but be able to design his own bat, that was really neat for him. It takes them about a week, I think, to make the bat, then they ship it to your house if you're not local. So they shipped it to California. Stick around to the end of this video and I'll show you the bat that he actually ordered and received here in San Francisco. Since this was our last full day in Ohio, after the baseball bat factory tour, we decided to get one more good old-fashioned deep-fried Ohio restaurant meal in us. And so we went to a classic bar grill place in Canton called John's and had some really great wings, deep-fried pickles, steak, ribs, all kinds of delicious stuff. Sadly, the next morning we got up and had to pack our things up to make the long journey back to California. However, it wasn't that simple. We were in Canton and had to fly out of Cleveland, which was a few hours away, something like that. But before we left, we took a trip to Mineral City, Ohio, which is where Molly's grandparents used to live, and went to a just wonderful old school bakery called Steinig's and got some really good donuts. Let me see. Got all this for how much was it?
$8.
From there, we hit the road and headed to Cleveland, and I think at that point we were kind of homesick for some good Mexican food. And so we did find a pretty decent Mexican restaurant in downtown Cleveland. We stopped for lunch. The restaurant happened to be really close to Progressive Field, which is home of the Cleveland Indians. It used to be called Jacobs Field, the Jake. Since we started the trip at the Reds Ballpark, it was really cool to kind of bookend and end the trip at the Guardians Ballpark. And that was it. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it or thought it was mildly interesting. And if you'd like to see more wacky content like this, long baseball stories, travel trips, whatever else, please subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, bro, let's see the final bat. Sweet.
So nice. Love it.
Feel good?
Yep.
Side note, this is the first time I've used my full studio setup down here that I've been working on. I've got like a camera and light setup going here. A little bit of sound deadening too to keep the reverb down. Some secondary lights. Using my standing desk as a backdrop. Even had to put a moving blanket over the drum set to keep it from reverberating. It's working out so far.